So the last part I want to talk about are specific types of accommodations that students would receive approval for through the Disability Services Office, or that you might need to provide in your classroom. And some of the most common ones are note takers. Some of our students have difficulty with attention. They may have difficulty physically holding a pen. They may be in pain. They may have difficulty with memorizations. There are any number of reasons why a note taker may be appropriate for a student. And again, you would see that in an accommodation letter. The Office of Disability Services handles the arrangements for note takers, so you would receive a letter from us asking you to send it out to your class. The letter asks a student to volunteer, and the students can get in touch with our office directly. You don't need to arrange that. We will also assist the note taker in the paperwork necessary to be paid for their services. We will then connect them with the student and make sure that the two can work together well. In addition to note-taking, sometimes students actually need to record classes. Again, could be for similar reasons, for memorization, to aid their note-taking, to enrich the notes that they've taken themselves, and sometimes just to review information multiple times. And when that permission to record in class is something you would also see in the accommodation letter from us. And we need to allow students to do that when it's been determined essential to their learning. And if there are any questions about that, faculty are welcome to be in touch with me to talk through those, how that would affect their class. Students are not doing this for the purpose of making a record about recording. They will not keep those things. They will be destroyed after they take their notes from them, after they've used them a few times to memorize. We sometimes have students can sign a confidentiality agreement, but my suggestion is if there's confidential information in the class, that folks may want to have everybody sign a confidentiality agreement. Another common occurrence, particularly in the School for Social Work, is with the pace of the program, students sometimes need extensions to complete their work. And yet with the pace of the program, it can be difficult to afford them too much additional time without getting very much behind. So we encourage you to consider 1 to 3 days as a typical kind of extension, maybe an additional 2 days if someone cannot get the work done. But we're definitely mindful of the pace of the program. We are working with students to help around organization and planning and breaking down papers, and the extent to which assignments are clear and really structured in a way that lets students help with that process of breaking it down, getting it done, helps to avoid that need for extensions. In addition, sometimes students need or want additional excused absences. Because of the nature of the program, there's a limit on the number of absences that students can have, so we can't really make much accommodation around that. If someone were to be extremely ill or some other unusual circumstances occurred, certainly be in touch with Peggy O'Neill and myself to let us know that that's happened. The last thing might be a sign language interpreter. Sign language interpreters would come to the classroom, would interpret and facilitate communication between you and the student and the other students in the class, and you would be informed if there were going to be sign language interpreters in your class. Additional kinds of communication methods can include using captioning services. There are C-print captionists who come into class and would caption everything that's being said in the class for the student, or there are remote services that also do that kind of captioning. If that was the case, then you would be asked to wear a small microphone. So one of the things we want to make sure to address is the presence of service animals on campus. Many students use service animals, and they have a right to bring their service animals to class and, in fact, pretty much anywhere on campus with them. If someone comes to your class and they have a service animal, they will usually let you know that and maybe introduce themselves. If someone comes and you're concerned about whether it's a service animal, you can ask them, in fact, is this a service animal? And if they say yes, my suggestion would be to just accept that and then let us know, if you can, that an animal is coming to class, and then we can follow up to connect with that student.